Do you want to know the secret to living a longer and healthier life? Well, you're in luck because in this video, we'll talk about how to increase longevity by 8 years. Over the last centuries, scientists have conducted animal and human studies to help better understand the science behind aging. And solid evidence showed that the best way for you to boost your chances of living a healthier life for longer is to follow advice that you've probably already heard before. What's surprising about this is that it's nothing groundbreaking. In fact, some of you may already be tired of hearing it. But before we get into it, can you do us a favor and like this video? Ring the bell for future notifications and make sure you subscribe to Diabetics Talk for more practical diabetes information. Plus, stick around to find out how you can get not 1, not 2, but 3 free gifts. Also, don't forget to check out exclusive Diabetics Talk merchandise from our store and sign up as a member to get full access to the Food, Health, and You Complete Implementation System documentary and more. Before we get into the details, let's take a look at longevity and aging and how it's changed over the last century. A News and Health article from June 2016 delved deep into what you can do to lengthen your life. They also discussed some statistics that came up with some pretty interesting numbers. For one, did you know that people in the United States today have an average life expectancy of 79? That's a huge difference from what it was a century ago, which was just 54. What's even more interesting is that as you hit age milestones, your chances for living longer increases. For example, if you make it to 65, you have a higher chance of making it to 85. And if you make it to 85, you will more than likely be fit enough to make it to 95. That's a whole lot of good news for seniors out there who want to enjoy their retirement for much longer. And it's not only happening in the United States. This phenomenon is observed the world over. At this point, you may already be saying, okay, so what's the catch? Are you telling me that just because people are living longer across the world, that means I get to do so too, just because? Well, no. There is a key to it, several keys, in fact. And as we've said, these are pieces of advice you'd probably heard before from health professionals and maybe even your own parents or grandparents. And they are: eat well, exercise regularly, and get lots of sleep. No, don't click off just yet. There's more to it than just that. For instance, with eating well, it's more than just calorie counting and avoiding overindulgence. Did you know that there's this one great diet that has been shown to help people live healthier for longer, even if they start practicing it later in life? Yes, seniors have been shown to benefit from this diet, and you can too, no matter your age. Plus, the great thing about it is that it's not restrictive. You don't have to restrict your calorie intake to practically nothing, nor do you have to cut out carbs and eat just fats and protein. But before we get into the specifics of the diet, let's take a quick look at the other things you can do to have you live healthier for longer. 1. Regular exercise. Now, this doesn't mean you have to go to the gym and pump iron. Regular exercise can be as simple as taking a 30 or 60-minute daily walk outside. As an added bonus, if you do it when it's sunny, you get some much-needed vitamin D. Just be sure to put sunscreen on before you go on your walk because skin cancer is no joke. Even that simple walk can help you improve your overall cardiorespiratory fitness. A Harvard Health article from 2019 that looked into the correlation between exercise and longevity showed that study participants who had higher levels of cardiorespiratory fitness lived longer. In another Harvard Health publication, they outlined that the amount and type of exercise you should be doing is going to be determined by 2 things: your age and ability. According to that article, this can range from 3 hours a day for preschoolers who have oodles of energy to burn to around 150 minutes a week for seniors who cannot tolerate as much activity. What's unfortunate is that up to 80% of the population do not meet the guidelines, and an estimated 10% of premature deaths are associated with lack or not enough physical activity. So go for that walk, set step goals, and try your best to reach them each day. If you're younger and more mobile, you can also mix in exercises that help you tone your muscles alongside your cardiovascular exercises. Next up on what you can do to help extend your longevity by 8 years or more is getting lots of sleep. This is something we all already know, but just don't give enough priority to. We don't give sleep enough importance, nor do we make sure we get enough of it. But poor sleep leads to a lot of issues and can exacerbate health concerns like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, obesity, and depression, all of which can curtail and shorten your lifespan. A 2016 study showed that getting less than 7 hours of sleep or more than 9 hours of sleep a day was associated with an increased mortality rate. That means in order to get the most of sleep, you have to sleep the right amount. Too much sleeping is bad for your overall health as well. Another study, this time from 2019, showed that there is a relationship between insomnia and the increased risk of stroke. Long sleepers, on the other hand, have their issues as well. That same study showed that those who slept for longer than 9 hours a day were at risk for coronary heart disease. And it's not just about getting enough sleep. A 2014 study published in the National Library of Medicine emphasizes the necessity of regular sleep patterns. This means that you should consistently be getting enough and good quality sleep on a daily basis. No, you cannot simply sleep in on the weekends to make up for the lack of sleep throughout the work week. In that study, they concluded that longevity was affected by strictly regular sleeping patterns. So if you want to increase your longevity by 8 years or even more, you may have to get enough sleep and stick to sleep patterns. Sleep is important, so be sure to get your 7 hours of sleep a day. Just don't overdo it. Before we get into what more you can do to increase your longevity, let us tell you about those free gifts. Discover an entire world of diabetes-fighting foods with our new book, 10 Incredible Foods That Reduce Blood Sugar. Plus, you'll discover the real reason why type 2 diabetes, obesity, and heart disease are increasing at an alarming rate, and find out what really works when it comes to preventing these illnesses by watching our free diabetes-fighting documentary. Plus, get a free recipe book, Amazing Alternatives to Rice, Pasta, and Bread, which contains over 50 delicious and easy to prepare recipes that the whole family will love. These gifts are free and waiting for you to grab them in the description box below. Now back to our video. Now for what is probably the most important thing that you can do to help you live healthier for longer: eating well. The average modern diet is one that is high in carbohydrates and sugars and low on fiber. If you want to live longer, you have to make changes to this. Now, we're not talking about following a restrictive diet where you can only eat a certain number of calories a day, or a diet where you can't eat any carbohydrates. We're thinking of something that's easier to follow and is a bit more natural, and it's the Mediterranean diet. A 2018 study showed that the Mediterranean diet helped to reduce the chances of heart failure, heart attacks, stroke, and overall mortality and disability. The diet has been hailed as one of the best weapons of modern-day preventative medicine, and it's likely due to the diet being rich in antioxidants. But what exactly is the Mediterranean diet? The Mayo Clinic defines the Mediterranean diet as a way of eating that incorporates the traditional flavors and cooking methods of the Mediterranean region. It is one of the most heart-healthy diet plans out there. Interest in the diet began in the 1950s, when it was noted that heart disease was not as common in the Mediterranean region as it was in other countries like the United States. It is a plant-based diet rich in whole grains, vegetables, legumes, nuts, fruits, seeds, and herbs and spices. Also, its main source of added fat is heart-healthy olive oil. Protein in the Mediterranean diet mostly comes from seafood and fatty fish such as mackerel, herring, salmon, tuna, and sardines. Poultry and dairy products are consumed in moderation, and red meats and sweets are only eaten on occasion. Wine is also a part of the Mediterranean diet, but it is consumed moderately. The alcohol in red wine does have its health benefits, but it has other health risks too. Does the Mediterranean diet help improve the longevity of older people? It does, and there are many studies that prove it. A 2020 study on gut health published in BMJ showed that the Mediterranean diet improved the gut biome in older people, reduced frailty, and improved overall health. Adherence to this diet also helped participants improve their cognitive well-being. That study looked into 612 elderly people from European countries and placed half of them on an elderly diet based on Mediterranean principles for a year. Aside from an improved gut biome, those who were placed on the diet were also less frail and had improved walking speeds. Those who followed the diet closely also showed improved overall cognitive ability. Another study published by Cambridge Health from 2018 looked at the health and diet of more than 5,000 people over the age of 65. The study showed that those who stuck closely to the Mediterranean diet had as much as 25% lower risk of any cause of death than those who didn't. There was also a significant reduction in the instances of coronary artery disease and cerebrovascular accidents or stroke in people who adhered to the Mediterranean diet. The study also showed that the older individuals who stuck to the diet were more likely to lead an active lifestyle. Okay, now that we've looked at the many reasons why you would be better off adopting the Mediterranean diet, it's time to look at how to eat the Mediterranean way. If you are interested in practicing the Mediterranean diet, here are some tips you can follow. Build your meals around vegetables, whole grains, and beans. Eat fish at least twice a week. When you have to use oil in your meals, choose olive oil or butter. Serve fruits in place of sugary heavy desserts, and add dairy and eggs into your everyday meal plan. That's basically it. You can still eat red meat and poultry, but do so sparingly. Don't make it a regular part of your daily diet. Also, when choosing fish to add to your diet, go for fish that are high in omega-3 fatty acids, such as sardines, tuna, salmon, mackerel, cod, lake trout, and others. The diet also allows for 1 to 2 small servings of alcohol a day. To get the most of this, it's a good idea to make red wine your choice of alcoholic beverage, as it has many health benefits. Just be sure not to overindulge. Also, if you are practicing the Mediterranean diet, you have to avoid overly processed foods and added sugar. Now, you may be thinking, what about bread and pasta? After all, when you think of Mediterranean, you can't help but think Italy, and when you think Italy, your mind will likely go to pasta and Italian breads. A 2004 study cited that grains should be part of a well-rounded Mediterranean diet, and this can include wheat that is used to make pasta and bread. The key here is moderation and choosing the right type of grain. Choose whole grain whenever possible. Avoid white bread if you can, and consume processed bakery goods in moderation. You can also have rice in the Mediterranean diet, but choose to go for brown rice instead of the regular white variety. As for pastas, there are many alternatives to the regular wheat pasta. The most common one you can go for is whole wheat pasta. Most brands these days carry a whole wheat alternative to their regular pasta. Other options include spelt pasta, semolina pasta, and soybean pasta. And there you have it, our rather easy tips on how you can increase your longevity by up to 8 years. Go ahead and give it a go. To start, you can just incorporate elements of the Mediterranean diet into your already existing diet plan. You can start by eliminating the sweets and overly processed foods, then you can gradually increase your vegetables and fruits intake. And as you get used to it even more, you can start eating more fish and decreasing your poultry and red meats. And now we want to hear from you. Do you have any other tips to help increase longevity? Share your tips and tricks with the Diabetics Talk community in the comments below. And make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit that bell button. And don't forget, you can claim your free gifts by clicking the link in the description below. We want to keep making informative, research-based videos for you, so if you gained value from this video and would like more of it, you can send us a super thanks by clicking the thanks button at the bottom of the video. We're Diabetics Talk, and it's our mission to bring you the best tips and tricks to help you fight obesity and diabetes. Thanks for watching. We hope you're having a diabetes-fighting day.